Hello, my name is Vithik, and today I'm going to teach you how to round a number to a nearest whole number and to decimal places. Now to do this, first you will need to know the units of a number, and that's what I've written right down here. Now, the first number is a unit, second 10, third 100, fourth is 1,000. Now, the ones after decimal point is tenths and hundredths. Now, look carefully. These are spelled differently to this. They have a TH while this one can have S or nothing. So remember the spelling. Now, when you want to round to a nearest whole number, for instance, say you had a number like 286.2. First, to do this, you'll need to look at the number after the decimal point, so it's to put a line through a decimal point as well. Now you see whether 2 is bigger or less than 5. Now we know that 2 is less than 5, so we keep this the same. So we put 6 down here, but we turn this to a 0, and then you put all the other numbers down. Now the answer is 286. Remember, when you're writing the answer down, always don't add the 0. Now, say you had a number like 348.7. Now, to round this to the nearest whole number, first you have to put a line through the decimal point, and then you have to see whether the number after a decimal point is bigger or less than 5. We know that 7 is bigger than 5, so we add 1 to the number before the decimal point. Now that will make this number 9, and then we put all the other numbers down as well. We also turn this number into a 0 and put the decimal point down. After that, we rub out the decimal point, and the answer is 349. Now, if you wanted to round a number to a decimal place, so say the number is 483.1. So to round this to one decimal place, so to round this to one decimal place, you first look at what number is after the decimal point. That's 1, and then you put a line after that number. So you split the two numbers after the decimal point. After that, you see whether the number after the line is bigger or less than 5. We know that 2 is less than 5, so we keep this the same. So we turn 1, we keep 1 the same, put up a decimal point here. We keep 3 the same, 8 the same, and 4 the same. But we turn the number we just found into a 0. Now I'm going to tell you how to round a number to 2 decimal places. To round this to the nearest 2 decimal places, first you have to see which number is after the decimal point. Well, that's 1, and we have to see the number after 1, which is 3, and put a line after that number. Now we see if the number after the line is bigger or smaller than 5. We know that 2 is less than 5, so we keep 3 the same, 1 the same, 4 the same, 8 the same, and 6 the same. We also put the decimal point down as well, but we turn 2 into a 0 because we rounded it down. Now if this was a larger number, for instance, if the number was 784.143 first you again put a line after the number that is 2 decimal places, and then we see if the number after the line is bigger or smaller than 5. Now this number is actually bigger than 5, so what we do is we add 1 here because we're going to round up. So that will be 5, and then we put all the numbers back down the same. That will be 1, 4, 8, 7. But then we also change the 7 into a 0. We also put the decimal point down as well. Now let's go on to some harder example questions. Okay, so this is our example question. The question is, round these numbers to the nearest whole number. So, to round this to the nearest whole number, first you have to put a line through the decimal point. And then we see if the number after the line is bigger than 5 or less than 5. We know that 2 is less than 5. So, we keep 5 the same, 4 the same, and 2 the same. But then we turn the numbers after the line into 0. That will be 245. And always remember to never write the zeros in our answer as your answer. So your answer is 245. For this question, again, to understand this whole number, we have to put a line through the decimal point, and you can see where the number after the line is bigger or smaller than 5. We know that 8 is bigger than 5, so we add 1 to 4, the number before the line, so that will be 5, and you put all the other numbers back down. But we turn these two into 0 and put a decimal point. And remember, never write the 0, so the answer is 3,455. Now on to more example questions. Okay, so these are next example questions. Now, to round these numbers to the nearest tenth or to 1 decimal place. Rounding to the nearest tenth and 1 decimal place is the same thing. So yeah. So to round these to the nearest tenth, first you have to find the tenth with this 1, and then you put a line after it. You then see if the number after the line 5. So if this is 5, you have to also add 1 here, because if it's 5, then it's also like rounding up. So we add 1 to a 2, which makes it 3, and then we change the 0, and then we put all the other numbers back down and put the decimal point. We then also turn the other numbers into a 0. So the answer is 571.3. Never write the zeros down, so the answer is. So next, for the other question, to round this to the nearest tenth, we have to put a line of the 8, and then we have to see whether 9 is bigger than 5 or less than 5. It's bigger than 5, so we add 1 to 8, and then that will be 9. Then we write the other numbers down as well. Okay, so I've written it down. Now also put the decimal point down as well. Now turn the 9 into a 0. So answer is 27.9. Now on to more example questions. Okay, so these are our next example questions. Now, the question is to round these numbers to the nearest hundredth or to the nearest two decimal place. Now, rounding to a 2 decimal place and nearest hundredth is the same thing, so yeah. So to round this to the nearest hundredth, first we find 100, which is this number, and we put a line after it. But then we then see whether the number after the line is bigger than 5 or less than 5. Now 6 is bigger than 5, so we add 1 to the number before the line, which is 5. So 5 plus 1 is 6, and then we put 7 down, 4 down, and 5 down. We also put the decimal point down as well. And then we turn the 6 into a 0. So the answer is 54.76. Now for this question, you need to do the same thing. So you put a line after hundredths, which is 2. Then we know that 4 is less than 5. So we keep 2 the same, 4 the same, 4 and 8 the same as well. So 2, 4, 4, 8. We then put the decimal point down as well. And then we turn the 4 into a 0. So the answer will be 84.42. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you now know how to round a number to the nearest whole number and decimal places. I am Rithik, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.